Thank you for joining me yet again. Tonight I'm going to be reviewing the Wave 1 Legends assortment from Power of the Primes. Managed to get a hold of this, again at my local Target. Target's leading the way this time. Alright, so in the first wave we have Slash, Beachcomber, Scrapnel, and Wind Charger. So yeah, we're going to look at each one individually, compare them to any older versions as may apply, and then talk about the wave as a whole. Let's get started. We're going to start this thing off with Slash, the newest addition to the G1 Dinobot roster. So far in fiction, she hasn't had any appearances. She's a completely new character who is based off of the movieverse Dinobot Slash. Notice I said she, because this is the first toy, I should say, of a female Dinobot. And it kind of works that she's smaller than the rest, seeing as she turns into, what equates to a Velociraptor, which would be naturally smaller than the others. But yeah, she's got the color scheme like a dead match for the other Dinobots that we've seen so far. This led a lot of people to speculate and hope that, she may have some extra mode that makes her part of the Volcanicus combiner for the Dinobot team. And disappointingly, that is not the case. She looks great next to him, but she has to sit it out when they go full-on Gestalt mode, so that's a shame. But yeah, it's a simple figure, being legend scale. Does have the clear plastic with gold paint underneath like the others do. Her jaw can move, her arms can move, legs can move. And you see this panel here, flip it up, and inside you can see a little cockpit for a Prime Master or Titan Master, anything that shares that body type. As of the time of filming this, Prime Masters haven't really hit retail shelves here in the States yet, so can't show you what that looks like quite yet. Alright, let's take a look at her robot mode. This is Slash's robot mode. See, she's very, very lithe, very simple, As per the MO of modern Legends class figures, she doesn't have a weapon of her own, which kind of, I don't know, seems inappropriate considering how the Dinobots come pretty fully armed. But yeah, she's got a lot of back kibble, primarily the tail and her raptor claws there. But, overall she looks good. She looks like she was always meant to be part of the team. If you could go back in time to slap her into the original roster, she would have fit right in. The colors on her are excellent, just like the other Dinobots in line so far, with that really nice metallic, like silver paint on there. Again, the whole layered gold thing going on. Joints are kind of, the legs are a bit looser than the arms, but not to the point of impeding, her ability to stand up or pose or anything. Overall, pretty solid. I don't know. Seems possible that she may have been inspired by, or maybe like a callback to the Raptoricons, which were a subgroup found in this Collectors Club only storyline called Of Masters and Mayhem. It was really interesting, worth a read if you can find it and download it. They were fiction only characters, but they did have fully penned robot and raptor modes, which were really cool looking. Maybe one day we'll get figures of them, but not likely. Till then, I am happy having this neat little addition. Secondly, we have Beachcomber. It's one of the original mini-bots from the G1 cartoon / comics / toy line. He is a perfect update to the original figure. He keeps the details almost spot on and just increases the complexity by a huge margin and detail. Got silver on these little the engine blocks here, I believe. He's got his lights, which unfortunately aren't painted on front. That would have been a nice touch, but how we are, how Hasbro's with paint. Look at those tamphographs here in a little bit. Autobot symbol. And his little roll bar can open up so you can fit a Prime Master in there. completely screw him up. Yeah. He rolls well. And yeah, not a lot, you know, not really any moving parts aside from the wheels, but he's simple and he pulls off what he does well. Here's just totally far out robot mode. Again, I mentioned those tampagraphs. They're pretty nice, and paint apps. You know, strategically applied, looking real good. Oh yeah, I mean, his proportions are really nice. Again, simple figure, but he is fully articulated, you know, head turns, all that. Some ball joints all over the place. Unlike Slash, who is kind of weird not having a weapon of her own, his lack of a weapon is pretty fitting, considering that the character is typically portrayed as a pacifist in all the media that I can think of. I don't have any other version of Beachcomber to compare this thing to, except this really, really beat up old G2 Beachcomber. Green one for all of you trivia nuts out there. But yeah, I really like this figure. I think this is the best Beachcomber we've ever gotten. I know there was one done back in, I think it was early 2000s or so, that just really does compare to this guy. Definitely the quintessential version. Next up, we're going to take a look at Scrapnel, which is the modern day trademark mandated name for shrapnel, one of the 3 original Insecticons. This thing is a re-release of the Thrilling 30 Scrapnel that we got some years back. I guess they figured, you know, with recent releases of the other 2 main Insecticons, you know, it's time to bring this guy back, because I'm sure a lot of the kids missed out on him. So there's nothing new here sculpt-wise. It's the exact same figure. Yeah, his insect mode doesn't really have any articulation. It's very static, but it looks good. Yeah, it's just a straight update of the original. He does lack the little Target Master companion. I think it was Reflector. Yeah, Reflector. From the Thrilling 30. So overall, you're definitely getting less value. You know, less toy for the same cost. If not, probably a little more due to inflation and all that. So let's look at his robot mode. And this is it. Again, if you've ever seen the Thrilling 31, no surprises here. The color layout is exactly the same. So unlike the recent Titans Return Cosmos, where some things were altered, there is nothing new with this guy as far as the color distribution. You know, paint apps, anything like that. And here he is with Thrilling 30 Scrapnel. In case you can't tell, our guy's the one on the left here. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, it is more or less just a straight reissue. They're the only... Oh, I can't get his head. Thrilling 30's head is a bit tighter than new guys. The only difference is just the shades of color used. It may be hard to tell if you're watching this. This guy has a more vibrant purple as opposed to the kind of darker, almost more reddish purple that the Thrilling 30 uses. His yellow paint on his chest is more vibrant. This one looks a little washed out, as if they didn't use enough yellow paint on the black plastic. The silver is a shinier version of, you know, his flatter gray. Black's a little deeper black. Symbols print a little darker to kind of, I guess, pop against that more. Yeah, I mean, it's not really a better version. Me personally, I think I prefer the new one just because I think the paint on his chest looks a bit better. One thing to keep in mind, considering this is an older mold with no alterations made to it, he is not in any way Prime Master compatible. He doesn't have any pegs, any cockpit form or anything. So he kind of goes against the theme, you know, the whole play pattern that they set up with this toy line, which it's not a big deal. I don't think anybody's going to lose sleep over that. And it's a good way for people that missed out on the last Scrapnel toy to be produced to finish off their Insecticon trio. And finally, we have Windcharger. One of the original characters from the first season of the cartoon. Somebody who hasn't gotten a ton of love over the years. He's had a few toys here and there. Yeah, just turns in this red muscle car. Very nice. Definitely looks like something a hot shot would be driving in the late 80s. I guess mid 80s, really. Rolls well. I was kind of skeptical of the amount of clearance he has here, but on a flat surface, it doesn't actually touch the ground, so it's good. Rolls freely like a toy car should. And yeah, here's his robot mode. See, he has a really big torso and really tiny limbs. Definitely resembles a human suffering dwarfism. But we won't hold that against him. He's adorable. Look at him. His colors are really just spot on to the original toy and the animation model for the character. His head is really based on character's 1980s character model. A lot of people were not happy when they saw this head. They thought it looked terrible, and they're like, oh my god, Hasbro really dropped the ball on this one. It looks awful. It doesn't look anything like that. Well, I got news for you. Given the relatively low animation quality of the original Sunbow cartoon, Windcharger's head was drawn in a variety of sizes and shapes, and believe it or not, this is one of them. He looked just like this in some episodes. So I imagine Hasbro happened to use one of those episodes as a reference point when they were designing the head, and they're like, yeah, here it is, that's what he looks like. So, yeah, if anything, blame Sunbow for drawing all sorts of misshapen abominations in their time back in the 80s. So, yeah, I mean, I think the head is fine. It is derpy, but it's not inaccurate. Windcharger's just derpy looking. I do agree with some people that it would have looked better if, like, this forehead / visor bit came out a little more, made it look more like a helmet. Might work a little better. But yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with this. You know, I think it's you dropped the ball, Hasbro. You had the ball, and you just chucked it right down the street. I can see the back of his face through the back of his head. I take back every nice thing I just said about you, Hasbro. I know you guys are cheap when it comes to the little hollow bits here and there, but seriously, the dude doesn't have a back to his head. Triggered. Anyway, yeah, I mean, that is pretty egregious. When I first saw that, I just in disbelief. Yeah, back of his face. But that's really the only bad thing I have to say about this figure. It's still, in my opinion, is kind of the quintessential Windcharger. Maybe when Takara does theirs, they'll cover the back of that up and make it not look so awful. Here's our new Windcharger along with his Combiner Wars counterpart. The Combiner Wars one is a retool of the Thrilling 30 tailgate mold with a new head that is actually based off of his Alternator's head design. Fun fact there for you. I mean, this wasn't a bad figure. It definitely wasn't a popular one. Shelf warmed a bit, and I think it's just because it wasn't the Windcharger people were looking for. You know, it was just IDW tailgate with a new head slapped on, which doesn't really look like any incarnation of Windcharger so far. Fun fact, though, the Reveal the Shield Windcharger from a few years prior to that was actually depicted as one of Windcharger's bodies in IDW. So that was pretty neat that they used the figure for his character model. I think overall it comes down to personal taste, but I'm sure most people are going to agree that this is the quintessential version of the character. This is just the G1 update they've been looking for all these years. One thing before I completely forget, with Windcharger being part of the Power of the Primes line, he has a little seat for Prime Masters to sit in. And in order to access it, you have to kind of open this up like a cockpit. But yeah, there it is. Standard little Titan Master / Prime Master seat. So they can ride around in this sweet red car and look cool. We're going to take a look at everybody's character art and their cards that they came with. So this is Beachcomber's. Looking pretty cool there. He's got his dude bro smile on with his shades. Digging it. This particular card is the Alpha Trion Beachcomber variant. Teaches the wisdom of avoiding conflict. Again, that whole hippy-dippy pacifist persona thing that he typically has. Here we have Scrapnel. He gets his own brand new character art. Didn't just like recycle some old Thrilling 30 stuff. You know, so it's a really neat little scene. Looks like he's just leaping from an explosion or something. This is the Soulless Scrapnel variant. Here we have Slash in her robot mode, which I talked about in an earlier video, that the trend for Power of the Prime seems to be that if they have a bestial alt mode, their character art depicts them in that alt mode. This is the Vector Slash, where you can see her, you know, power listed in multilingual. Just kidding. It's all in English. And apparently that's every version of the Slash card. For some reason, instead of putting it in 4 different languages, they just put it in English 4 times. So somebody made an oopsie there. But whatever. That's neat. And lastly, Wind Charger. Charging into battle. Get it? Like the wind. He's got a symbol I haven't seen so far in any of my other ones. That's Primo Wind Charger. Instantly chooses the noble path. I know where the noble path is. It's through the back of his open head. Burn. So yeah, that's Wave 1 for the Legends class and Power of the Primes. 3 exciting new molds, minus the glaring, gaping issue with Wind Charger. Then you have a quality reissue mold, which, again, for anybody that missed out on Scrapnel the first time, this is your chance to get them again. Yeah, overall, I mean, I like these. I think they're very well done Legends class figures. Very solid looking, except maybe Scrapnel, he's kind of spindly looking. I have some level of disappointment at the fact that, unlike Combiner Wars, the Legends class figures don't in any way combine with or add to the combiners that are going to be in the line. I think it was a missed opportunity, but on the plus side, that does allow the toy designers to focus on their 2 primary modes. I guess it just kind of comes down to preference, as most things. I enjoyed making this review. I was happy to get a hold of these relatively early. Hope you guys enjoyed the review for them, and hope you're looking forward to getting these. Let me know what you thought of the review, what you think of the figures, and I'll see you next time.